We face many challenges, large and small. I'm here to say I believe we can meet challenges and achieve many things if we mobilize our scientific thinking capability. Scientific thinking, I don't want to spend a lot of time defining it, but the closer we can stick to reality, generally speaking, the more successful we'll be. We can't actually see or predict reality, but by exercising scientific thinking, we can maintain some sense of reality and kind of track along with it. And, interestingly enough, the more we practice or exercise scientific thinking, the more able we become to handle unpredictable paths. We develop a kind of self-efficacy. And I think this is also one place where it intersects with organizations, organizational behavior. It's not just an individual thing. That self-efficacy or that feeling like you can handle unpredictable paths or you're more comfortable with unpredictable paths is in you and your team. Trying to develop that scientific thinking capability to become better problem solvers or better navigators of uncertainty, that's kind of the goal with Toyota Kata. I think this is kind of an interesting point. Scientific thinking as a useful skill for everyone. So contrary to how the word scientific or scientific thinking or being scientific has been portrayed, I like to think of it as a life skill that anyone can learn and anyone can use, but it's not our default way of thinking and acting. It does take some development. Okay, those are concepts. Those are ideas. How do you make concepts real? The management press, the bookshelf, the management bookshelf, conferences, etc., are full of explanations of lots of new concepts. And they're really fun to read. It's really fun to go to the conferences and listen to these ideas. But brain science is perfectly clear. That's not how we change our mindset. That's not how we change our skills. That's not how we change our habits. You know what's coming next? It takes practice. Basically, learning a new skill or mindset or ability by doing. Now, Toyota found an elegant solution to this how do you develop scientific thinking issue or problem, and that is they turned their workplace into a training ground. At some point in its development, Toyota didn't just solve problems. They said we need to develop the capability to solve problems scientifically in our people. Not just wanting to have the problem solved, but, I need to develop an army of problem solvers so that we can take on bigger and bigger challenges and survive a long time as an organization. And their solution is that the workplace is also a training ground. So here's kind of a coaching chain schematically depicting something we saw inside of Toyota, where one level coaches the next. It's not the only way to do coaching. It happens to be the way it is done a lot at Toyota. And what they're doing is they're combining teaching or coaching/practice with working. And an interesting thing about this diagram, if you look at it, it's also how they align the organization toward goals. So they're getting work done, they're practicing a scientific thinking way of approaching goals and problems, and they're aligning organizations all by doing the same thing. That's a fairly elegant answer. What we found is that if you practice this at work, people take it home. The effect is not just at work. It spills over. You don't turn off your mindset when you go home from work. Whatever mindset you've acquired, in whatever ways you've acquired it, cuts across. You apply it at work. It's the way you deal with issues at home when you work on other things. And people not only take it home, the scientific thinking mindset that we've watched Toyota Kata practitioners take home, they influence others. They influence their children, they influence their partners, they influence their friends, they influence their communities. What I'd like to point out is that the workplace or workplaces have the potential to be the world's largest classroom. What a wonderful classroom it is. It's a great place to practice. You're there every day, for the most part. There are many goals and problems to work on. There are people who can coach one another. Neuroscience also points out that if you work on something real or meaningful, it's going to stick much more than if you're doing just like a Lego exercise in a classroom or something like that. So the workplace, is in a way the world's largest classroom. And in a sense, that's the Toyota Kata mission, to utilize the world's largest classroom to promote practice of scientific thinking, which then spills over and becomes much more than a workplace thing. You sitting in this room, and myself, and many of the other kata geeks around the world, of which there are hundreds, if not thousands, are not just working on a problem or a goal at work. You're also a teacher and influencer in the largest classroom in the world. And I just want to point out that you guys are part of that. So wherever and whomever you coach in scientific thinking, I'd like to say you're doing important work. This is something that spills over and has benefit for humans in general. So, we've got 30, 40 people in the room here. How can you help promote practice of scientific thinking in workplaces? If that's the Toyota Kata mission, you're at a Toyota Kata event, how can you help? Well, there's already lots of Toyota Kata practice going on out there. But what I'm learning is that it may be quiet, it may be independent. I hear about lots of Toyota Kata practice going on, lots of interesting stories, things being learned, problems being solved, goals being reached, lives being changed. But I'm surprised how much of it doesn't get out. I'd like to share with you something you can do is to help share what people are doing with Toyota Kata. Share what you are doing and get others to share what they are doing on whatever platform you like. If you see someone doing something, help them share it so that all can learn from that and evolve. What you have here with Toyota Kata is a young, still growing, and still evolving topic. So that when we hear stories, see pictures, whatever it is, of others practicing, that will influence what we do. That will raise the bar of the entire group. And I think you in the room are like the blue nodes in this diagram. That if you look at the previous diagram, it's not connected. This is us. And I think we can help share those things to the benefit of the community, because then we learn more and we learn faster. How to teach and practice scientific thinking with groups of people, I think that's an interesting, evolving subject. And I added at the bottom here a little sentence. Connectivity is not easy, but it's vital to humans flourishing. It's actually quite important for us, and I think we're seeing that more and more. What are other people doing? Let's learn from that. Now, there is one more thing you can do, and that is share Sylvain's book. Get Sylvain's book. I'm going to get a copy. Read Sylvain's book. If you don't like it, put it on the bookshelf. That's cool. But if you do like it, share it with 10 people. The gap we've had in the market is a book, short, sweet. You can read it on a flight from New York to Los Angeles. And what it gives you is, what is this about? So if you have someone who says, what is this about? Hey, I don't want to read a detailed how-to book yet, and I don't want to read something super long. This is about 150 pages. Sylvain's book is perfect. So congratulations, Sylvain. And if each one of you makes it as a goal to share this with 10 people, then that's 300 to 400 people right there, and you're helping to network. I'm not proposing we share this book so that Sylvain becomes famous. I'm proposing we share this book because it's a vehicle to humans understanding what capability we have and how we can develop and mobilize that capability in ourselves, in our teams, in our organizations. And in that sense, I think Sylvain has written a real winner here. And with that, I would like to wish you a great rest of the week.